Listen to that, isn't that cool? We like good waves. Hi everybody, welcome. Welcome to a new live stream. Hey, let me get this all straightened out and moved over here so I can see you guys. I'm just getting everything powered up. Welcome, it's live stream time in MegaMagic Land. This is MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5. I am so happy it is here. It's taken a bit of work to get here, and it was all worth it. Hopefully you guys hear me. I reworked the audio system this week, and I got it to where I have no latency and microphone and everything playing. So, hey Dwight, good to see you all. I was wearing the wrong glasses. I need to do this so I can read there. There we go. I have so many pairs of glasses running around, it's not even funny. So, anyway, welcome. Okay, let's go over here to this and push a couple buttons. Boom. Hello. How you doing? Welcome to everybody. We have a new library, MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5. Yes, that's what the actual guitar looks like. It's very hard to control and hold. Especially when it sounds like this. Those strings, you have to be careful. They'll cut you if you're not using like lead gloves. This is a library that I've shown you guys in the last couple of live streams as I was working on it. It's fun to kind of like bring you guys along on the process. I've recorded 4 different instruments. An electric guitar, which is this dude. This is what you're hearing now. There's processing on the secondary. Actually, that's just the layer of processing. Now that I'm looking at this, I can turn on this, which will turn on the clean guitar to go with it. But this library is called MegaMagic because of these pad layers that are just really, really cool ambiances like this, which were captured from playing guitar through effects that I'd set up. And then I can go like this, and I can turn on an acoustic guitar. Maybe turn down the pad part just a little bit. I'm having to talk over the top of it. Like this and there. Isn't that nice? So I'll give you a tour of this library. There's 135 patches in the library. Had a few minutes to play it. Yeah. I just released it yesterday, so it's like baby born. I found a few things I have to fix already that I thought I'd fixed and I didn't. So I'll show you those. Gotta know about the warts sometimes that are going on. So there's things to fix on a couple patches. Let me just be a little bit wider. You made a Harley Benton electric guitar sound better than, oh wow. Yeah. Andy is saying I made this Harley Benton guitar, which I just picked up a couple months ago from Tom in Germany. It's a fairly inexpensive guitar, but it's regarded as being exceptional. And I totally agree with that. It has a really great tone. The pickups are great. And that's this instrument right here. So, in fact, if I play, see if I can play it on the first time. No. It's been a hard. Is that kind of sound? You can also play it looks like a. Kind of a thing. This library it's called Double Trouble because it's all about double stringed guitars. I also recorded a mandolin because it's double stringed as well, and it's a very great tone. So you have a whole lot of really cool elements. We'll start with the acoustic guitar since I want to be a little bit more organized than I'm being. Here's the 12 string. I wanted to be kind of a really jangly. I really wanted to hear the striking of the strings for that kind of a. But this Mitchell guitar that I sampled, it has a really warm body tone to it as well. It's not in tune right now. I joked in the video last night because if you see the head, I had to line up all of these for their portrait pictures because I took pictures of the guitars. I've got my studio set up for photography. I also took these guitars, some of these other patches. If we go like some of these, will show it not in a studio environment, but in this setting over here. There's a little park with trees and stuff that's really nice. So I put it up against those and had some good lighting for some of the pictures. So there's images attached to every one of the patches. The first one show you the instruments and how they look, what's really going on there, right? This is the Thunderbird bass that I sampled. Now, if you bring up the mod wheel, you'll go to harmonics. So you can get harmonics with it as well. Just the right amount of finger slides, and so many of these libraries, they like overemphasize the note offs and clicky things, and maybe for some guitars and some styles of like classical guitar and stuff, it might be necessary and effective, but it just gets in the way for me. So there's enough here that if you put it into a song, what happens is just like when you least expect it, you hear a little squeaky thing that just gives you that much more of attachment to it being not synthetic, even though it samples. And as I explained in the video, when you're sampling these instruments, they're not looped. None of these samples are looped. So I'm having to sit here, usually late at night. I wait for the traffic to die down around me and stuff like that so I can, not for these because it's a direct input, but for the guitars, I have to play the note, make sure I got a right strike so I'm listening all the time to the attack. And then I'm sitting here without barely breathing. Until right there. So, long samples. I also recorded it with distortion. And then this is the pick and the DI together. The distortion and the DI. So you got both choices there. The acoustic guitar, it's both picked, and as you can see, I use both a pair of stereo microphones. But also the direct input, which is a whole different, more synthetic, but it's nice. It's different. It's a different sound, so you can play with that. And then the picked and the DI together is the microphone and the DIs combined. And there's room for added EQ if you go over here to make it brighter, if you need to have more. There's a lot of room. You could bring up that strike if you need it. It's there. I just made it more of a natural. I'll show you one thing. Down here in the Z bonus patches, there's one patch called More Than a Feeling, where I'm combining this with other guitars to get a different sound. So here's the normal guitar. Here we go. That now here's the so you have a brighter right, and I have artwork to match the vibe, so you have that type of a 12-string guitar as a different alternative to the natural. There's also a really unique finger style, but soft, so it's got this just nice natural and below this you see the effects. This is where we have the MegaMagic patches, and this is where if you go to the finger with the bliss, it just becomes really cool to have, because you have this additional layer of life with the sounds. And lovely pictures of the guitar here. So yeah, guitars all sound different. Also the person, I've learned that the person actually even playing the guitar in the session will make an instrument that you play once it's on the keyboard sound different. The same guitar played by somebody else will give you a whole different results than if you play it. So yeah, let's see what the comments are like. Oh, cool. The birds. Yeah, Thayer. I was going for the electric guitar, definitely in for that kind of a vibe. Yeah. All right, so there's all these different variations of processing. This is called endless verb, which is this really cool. Just kind of like wraps its arms around the sound. It's very subtle, but it's there in a nice way. And you can hit solo if you want just that. So if I go over here and hit solo. that nice? And then you combine that. What's nice with the when in 2000, I think it's 15, when I did the first MegaMagic Guitars Volume 1 for Omnisphere. Number one, it had to only be one sample. I did use multiple patches to get multiple samples. Like I have all 6 strings. But if I wanted the MegaMagics, I had to bake this reverb into the samples. And so if we go to, I have here MegaMagic Guitars, like the 12 string, the dry version of volume, this is like 10 years ago, my first, whole different vibe. Very different vibe. And the MegaMagics have the reverb is in there, and there's no, I'd get email all the time from people, hey, can I change the mix of the reverb so I have less? And it's like, sorry, that's what it is. So just this like epic, big, it's cool to time, but now that we've gotten to this point, all 3 of these, version 3, 4, 5 for UniFi, with UniFi, I have a lot more control over how the samples are mapped and how they work. So when you come to these guys and you play, that reverb is right here. I can turn it all the way off if I want. I can turn it up. I could take it down an octave, which is a really cool effect, because now you're playing. You can even do such things as, like, let's say, duplicate this layer, one to the left, one to the right, and have one go back up an octave. So now I have the left side is 1 octave setting. All sorts of fun things. You could add processing, different things, sonic treatments to these reverb layers. They're separate. And on top of that, if I wanted to, I could say, let's get rid of this layer, and I don't need the notes and the harmonics and all that kind of stuff. And instead, let's go to Ample, just to give you an idea of a different, like here's their Martin, which is a nice guitar. The difference between their library, Ample's libraries, is that no matter when you play, and then there's the samples that jump up. But I can use this plug-in guitar sample with the MegaMagic reverb from a completely different guitar. So you don't have to use that. We also have the picked guitars, so we have the and again, if you want to get to that really bright thing, just take the Flex EQ or put your own EQ that you want in there and have it tickle the high. You can get that sparkle if you need it. Right, so it's there to play with if you want. So there's all these different variations of both the picked and the fingered, dry as well as with the rum. By the way, the thing I have to fix is I found that these work for the mod wheel to get to the harmonics. But for some reason, when we get to the electric guitars, I broke them. So all the electric guitar VSs, This is I'll explain the whole thing, but all of these the mod wheel's broken, or not the mod wheel, but the second. That's probably why. When I take it up here, it's supposed to go to harmonics. It doesn't. Now, if you want to fix this, you could go over here, and the harmonic switch is number 4. So you go to 4 and reverse this. So you just go like this, and take this up to this, and make this go away, this go away. It's a relatively simple fix. Just taking layer 4 and reversing how it works. So now it will work so that if it's down, so I have to do that and get that out to you guys as a little hot patch fix. It's like when we release software and then it's like, oh, we missed these couple of bugs, so we have to do a quick hot fix. So probably in the next day or so, I'll put up a little download file that will just fix these patches for you. Because it should be that when you go to harmonic switch, you want it. And you know, sorry I missed that. But now the electric guitar is the 12-string electric, and so the closest to the original is the electric clean. Get to the harmonics here with the harmonic switch on the knob. And I have vibrato for if you're going to be playing. That type of thing. Now, what I did is I came up with some really cool different alternate distortion setups for the samples, and then fed those samples through it to make 5 variations of the same guitar. So you have the clean. Go for it. I tried. It's so hard on the higher notes to get them to sound soft and because you're trying to hit the string at the same time. So it came out really sweet for it. And then there's 4 other guitars. Now, let me show you on just clean by itself. You've got the clean, you've got the harmonics. My neighbor, Dave Gedda, he's an engineer and a really good guitar player. He lives 2 houses over. He came over and played the mutes because he had the technique for getting really great mutes. I couldn't get when you're playing a double 12-string and trying to get mutes. I can do them on a 6-string, but on a 12-string I wasn't getting what I wanted. So he came over and saved my bacon. Now the VS version of each of these electric guitars has the mutes when you play soft. When you play harder, it switches. I've got the velocity switching set up here. You can adjust it if you need to. You can also use, if the way it plays isn't quite right, go to the settings, and right here is the velocity curve. And you could set this, if you want, or if you want to be even harder, bring it down. But, you know, let's hit reset because I like it just by default the way it is. And then on the mod wheel, you're supposed to have the mutes. And like I said, I broke that for some reason. It's going to number 7, which means all you have to do really is this. You could go to 7 in the list, which my monitor is just freaking out on me a little bit. That's not good. Actually, there's no setting for 7. So again, it'd be 4 is the harmonics. Actually, here in this one case here, it's 5 for the harmonics. So I'll fix all these and give you a hot fix probably later today or tomorrow at the latest. So that it works right. Now, on top of that, on the VS version, up Up here on B and C, you have what I call chunks. And there's like 34 samples to each one of these. There's the up and the down. Because guitar players are always playing and doing rhythmic stuff in between. So this, as well as the picked acoustic guitar, has that. And again, 20, 30 different variations that it's cycling between randomly. So. Which is kind of fun. Now, the other guitars have the exact same treatment. Mutes, harmonics, the open tones, the chunks on the VS versions, the broken harmonic that we talked about. But a Dirty Rig is a more of a... Just a nice... Just a little bit of delay if you want more. Here's your knob for it. And check this out, these chunks on the VS versions are fed through the amp distortion and stuff of the guitars. Now Lion down here is the biggest and the most obnoxious and rockiest, and so its chunks are distorted like Lion. If you go to the clean VS, they're like doo-boo. Right? And then so we got that for 5 different guitars. The other 2 besides Lion and Dirty Rig is Firebird is that kind of a vibe. And then Fire Water is just a little bit more lead guitar. Kind of a vibe. And I mentioned this last week when showing you, I believe, and I mentioned it in the video, but one more time. If you go to clean, let's go to the clean VS so that we... Yeah, there is a version with Swanky amp. That's down here with like a rock show lead for the... And I'm doing this in a unique way. I'm taking the guitar signals and the direct send is down and number 4 is up to send these sounds into Swanky amp. But this way I can also have the auxiliary bus sends up for a cleaner sound to go through reverb and distortion instead of just the Swanky, because I can't route the distorted back into something else. So I did it this way. So I could also have the reverb and the distortion on guitar. Custom artwork, of course, because so yeah, we went there. Yeah, Rob, we will do that. I'm going to be making, after I show the free plugins, we'll come back and we'll make a couple bonus patches for the library. Because the other big half of this, I got a little bit more to show you before we get there, but I've got all these Z patches I want to show you that came out really cool too. So we're all through the different electric guitars. The one thing I wanted to show you is if you go to Clean VS, kill the reverb, so it's totally dry. There's a company that has this plugin. Let me find it. Neural Amp Modeler. I love this little thing. Check this out. Here's the website. I'll put the link into our chat. It's free. And you can go to let's see, if you come users, contributors, builders, the code. So I think you can go to the code. It's open source. The plug-in right here. So you can go to the GitHub depository for the, there it is. And here you'll find the builds down here for the VST3 version of Amp Modeler and stuff like that. This is a really cool distortion simulation. And like on this page here, I believe when you go to like contributors, you can get to a link, or there's some users, there's somewhere here you'll find all sorts of presets. And when you find the presets, it's like a gold mine. I don't have the link in front of me for that, but if you go here and go NEU Neural Amp Modeler, it's this little dude right here. And I have downloaded some of the contributed presets. And if we go to VST3, to the amp models and stuff like that, there are tons and tons of presets of different types of amplifiers, distortion, the JCM Marshall. So we go from this. Ow. Okay, that doesn't work. That needs a more mellow tone to be like goosed. Below that, let me show you that is something that's kind of cool and useful, is the line 6. These are real. So it's flexible. You control the input and the EQ and the threshold and so forth to get all sorts of different guitar tones using these samples or any other guitar samples you have. It's just a really cool resource to have. So that's fun. Also, I made mod wheel versions of all the guitars in case instead of velocity, you want to use a mod wheel to switch between the different sounds. So if we go over here like Firebird. For certain presets and type of rhythm grooves and stuff like that, it's nice to have the mod wheel, you know, to do all sorts of fun things like that. So each one of the guitars has a mod wheel version. To play with as well. And then mandolin. This was the other instrument that I recorded. That's right here. This is the Epiphone version of a mandolin. And again, I've straightened out all the pins for the photos that I took of the mandolin. So you've got nice portrait pictures. But that means I can't play it because it's not in tune. But here it is. There's our note. you gotta do the Italian tremolo things and stuff. It sounds very, very nice for all that kind of stuff. There's also a MegaMagic version of this with nice reverb. So you have and what's fun with this is you can do all sorts of fun things with this MegaMagic layer. Open it up in Guru Sampler, and if you want, give it a longer release. Let's make it darker. And let's have more filter play with a shape of an attack and a decay so it slowly raises up. For a different sound. And then because it is a synthesizer here to play with, you could turn on all sorts of LFOs and get it doing all sorts of fun things, set it to a pulse and a sawtooth down. And now you have like a cool pulsing reverb. And a real fun trick is you can use this to do, instead of volume, let's use this for filter. And let's set to 16th notes. And then after this, there's a pump house right here, which is currently doing like a side chain shape. But we could also change this, go to presets, say saw down for the shape. And now this can be a bonus LFO. So now we have two LFOs running on this. One for the pulse. We might be making a bonus patch, you know that? Might have to keep this because it's cool. Yeah, let's keep this. So we'll build on this for a minute. Let's see, what else do we want to do this? Let's listen for a second. I'm gonna get the sustain to be up a little bit higher so it doesn't go quite slow. And then I'm gonna do something like this. Let's go over to the pads. This is all of the bliss levels from all the guitars and stuff. Let's go over here and find like an acoustic 12-string bliss. Let's add that. And instead of noise box here for distortion and stuff, I'm gonna go over here and put a filter max. Come here, filter max, and set this to a high pass filter to get rid of some of the low end. And let's also have this have the pump house giving us a rhythm, since we already have that established with the right here. So and let's do this. Let's really take it out there. Let's put phase more. And I think maybe the mandolin should have some like really cool, like standout bright reverb on it as well. So let's do this. Let's mute our two spacey parts. And right now it's going through kind of a natural reverb, but we're gonna like trick it out a little bit. So let's go over here to our reverb types. Zenverb is really good for this because it has EQ that you can emphasize frequencies on. And And then what always can be fun is to double your reverbs. This is something that you don't do in a lot of other, you know, I rarely do this in like my songwriting DAW situation, but when I'm working on making sounds, it's sometimes fun. I'll stick a little bit, because Waterverb has this really cool natural reverby chorusy thing to it. And let this be about 95%. And then I really want to emphasize the brightness of this, so I'm actually going to go over here to EQ and add a flex EQ to the reverb. Auxiliary send. Because I really want to get that air to stand out. It's got to compete with these two guys over here too, right? Is that better? Getting there. I'm thinking of like an element to use in a dance track, you know, so. That's cool. The main instrument used by exactly. That's very cool. Let's have this knob here control the rhythmic elements. How about if we do that? So let's call this pulse percentage. So that way we will be able to know that that's what it's set up for. So we've got what effects are doing the pulse. We've got an LFO over here. We have the pump house right here. And we have the pump house inside of, actually it's inside of here, isn't it? It's not inside of the Bliss guitar thing, it's in the mandolin patch. Right there's our pulse, right? So let's do this. Let's go to here, we hit the ear, and we want to set it to this button here. When we hit the ear, this says current value on the right, the left takes it to 0. So I just have to barely move this. It's got it. Go over here, hit the ear again, barely move this, it's got it. So I'm having a control parameters in both a plug-in and an audio effect at once. So now I can bring this down, and remember this is a bipolar effect for the cutoff depth. So I don't want to go to negative 100%, so I'm going to select this dot and I can bring it up. But even cooler inside of Unify, you can double click right here and say 0 for the value. So I know that when I bring it all the way to here, it's 0. So I can go from pulse to none. There's still a pulse happening, right? From here. So just go back to here. Hit our ear one more time, say, here's our current value. And because we have it on that box, it's going to do the same thing. That's what the current value is. And then all the way to the left is 0. So now, and maybe when it's down, I want the reverb and the effects to be a little bit softer. It's like, it's a little bit too loud right now. So I'm going to use the little plus right here. And I'm going to say, I want to control both the eternal verb mix level, and I'm also going to say +1 on the duplicate layer. Well, no, I'm not, because see how these are different values? So duplicating would give me this value with this curve. Instead, use the plus right here again. Go to instrument, here to the mix level of that other layer, and it makes them separate. And I don't want it to get to 0. When I'm here, I don't want it gone. I could have it gone. Right? Oh, you can't even see over here, can you? So I'm sorry. I've been having these effects over here, as I've been moving the values and stuff like that for them. But I set it up so that all of these different plugins are now being responded by one macro control knob. And I don't want these to go to 0. So what's so cool, this is the coolest thing with Unify, on the macro knobs. If I click right here and start moving, I hear that knob. It's actually physically, if we look over here, when I do this, click and drag, see that knob? It's moving. So I can change to what value I want it to be when it's all the way down. And I can do it for each one of these. Maybe I want the phaser to also be down. So because we got that phaser thing happening, right? So let's go over here to, is phase more right here? Yes. So let's go over here and let's say ear to the mix of that. So this way when it's all the way down here, and I'm going to change the curve of this. I'm going to grab it and bring it down. What this does is this is giving more small values to more of the range, and then only at the end does it really jump up. So down here, now you start to hear the phaser, right? Just started to show up. Maybe when it's here, we have it be a little bit more. So, with that kind of control is just so fun to have over all of the different plugins. That's what Unify is all about, is it's united all of our plugins so that you can control them. You can set, like, if we go back here to the pulse percentage, say that I wanted the depth. I can click and hear how it sounds in the mix. So I can determine where I want it to be. I can also change the curvature. And what that does is that tells it, as I'm moving this knob, how much focus does this give to being just an equal across the whole range? Or do I want it to like dramatically drop? If I do this, it's going to dramatically drop the pulse. You barely hear it, even right here. So when I get to here, it's like almost, it's virtually gone. So by having this kind of control over every parameter, you can really set it so the travel of this knob does exactly what you want it to do, so that you can go from a nice So let's call this Trancy Mandolin. We'll call this, it's a Z patch because it's a bonus. Z guitar. But it's the Trancy, how do you spell Trancy? Let's just call it Trance. Club Mandolin. And we'll put an LS because we made this in live stream. So this is a bonus patch made in the September 13th live stream. So I'll get these patches to you at the end of the little live stream. So don't let me forget. I'll be getting this to you. So we put this here, save. Yeah, Tone 3000, that's right. So Jim is asking, is this library making a bit of history? Meaning, yes, technically this is the last library for Unify 1. Anything after this will be for Unify 2. In fact, I have a little treat for you. I can show you something. notice that we have these really cool images, and here you click the little artwork to see them, right? So when we're calling up these cool sounds, right? Well, let me show you something kind of fun. I like to give you guys little sneak peeks, right? So this is a video. I can't show you in the plugin yet. We're not to the point of calling it the plugin because then I have to play it and stuff. But check this out. UniFi 2 has, when you change patches, the image that we've set up shows up in the background as you're changing patches. So this is in UniFi 2. When you change patches, that's why we're putting this energy into these images, is because you get to see them when you're playing with the patches. It's so fun to have them there and get to do all this fun stuff, see really cool images like this. Isn't that cool? So that is the experience of UniFi 2 over UniFi 1, where you're just sitting here and it's just green knobs all the time. So that is a really cool thing that is coming. Having this in the background when you're having that in the background, it makes a difference. It's really, 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 really nice. So, free sneak peek for what's coming. So, all right, we'll make more bonus patches. Oh, let me cover the Z patches for a second because I put a lot of work into these. There's 30 different Z patches in this. They go all the way from these types of things. Let's start here. We've got the chords. These are really fun. These are where it's the full strum is you just play one note. And you have minor sevens, major sevens. And because it's such a big guitar sound, I decided to make funny artwork of like a whole bunch of people around a campfire playing guitars in the mountains. So I think it's in Sweden. This is like all Swedish Vikings taking a break from their day being Vikings to right now. You see that I have these set up so that here's the minor ninth, which is really cool. Right? All of these are available with the knob. So I've saved each of the patches so you can call up one of the chords in case you want to just use the chord. But you can also get there with any of these patches by moving the knob, and you can do it in real time. So you can be like major 9, minor, major 7, blank, major. So you do all the different chords. So there's the full strum. The sparse strum is a lot simpler and simpler artwork. And again, this knob here will change all the chords. So you can and I wanted to set up, I didn't set up because I had, oh, I do have it here. You do have MIDI velocity. Playing with this as you're like putting your sequence in into automation, it's on the second row, second from the right. So you can take these nice, happy Swedish Vikings that are playing So it doesn't have to just be sitting there the whole time. So you can control it and stuff like that. You use the purpose Z BPM splits. Is it possible to have the left hand on latch so when playing the right hand guitar, you can use mod wheel and controllers? Yes, we'll set that. That'll be our other bonus patch we make, is like some sort of a cool jam thing or something like that. Yes, that sounds great with piano. I've done some tests already. It's great. So you have two different types of strums. You have some other ones, like here's the magical harp pad, which is where it's a harp, which is made from, actually check this out. This is the 12 string, but I'm using shift. Here it is as a normal guitar. I'd use shift. You'd want to use like high pass filter to get rid of some of the lower frequency chunk if you do that. Other ones, here's your master strummer. Now, this is one, the master strummer means that this is, I sequence one note. So now you can play chords. And again, velocity. Also, I could, maybe for bonus patches I'll do this, but if you open up MIDI box, as you can see at the top, is talking to all these different layers, so you get the squeaks and the slides and all that stuff. If you click the little blue right here, it will open up a folder where there's a whole bunch of other patterns that I made that I didn't make patches for. So you can say upbeat, sparse, and get something like that. If you took this and like if you went to the standard library and we go like BPM drum, like Island Sun, and I probably need to open this up really quickly. For Unify 2, I'm going through and turning all this note to chorus off so that it doesn't transpose across the keyboard, because typically when we use drums, we want them across the whole keyboard so we can now play. What is going on? Let's see here. My speed's 100%. I was too relaxed in my sequencing. There's other patterns you can hit the plus button for Watcher. Lost is kind of fun. Let's turn it out. So you have a whole bunch of additional MIDI patterns in here to play with. Right? Now, I should point out, I haven't covered this, I don't think, before. In 5 years, we haven't talked a whole lot about these two knobs. This is the velocity scale and velocity offset for the MIDI files. It's doing some velocity control to the notes so that you can... offset is just offsetting the whole scale. But if you bring this down and you bring the scale up, it makes the brighter notes have more velocity and the softer ones have less velocity, so you can... If you go over here to 0, you can See how now the dynamics is so different because the velocity is max, but it's also emphasizing the soft ones. So you can use these if you want them to all have the same dynamics. You can find a place where they pretty equal. But even if there's just small deviations in the velocity, you can emphasize that by setting this to 200%. Now those small differences become wide differences, so you can get even more. So these two controls are really powerful. If I set it like this, it's like they're all the same velocity. But by setting these to different settings, you can pull out nuances that are subtle in the MIDI files. You can emphasize them to do all sorts of things. So these MIDI files, they're quite flexible. You can get them to do some cool things. Like, you hear it going up and down velocity a little bit, but if you want to emphasize that, you could really emphasize it or take away the emphasis, so now it's all velocities. Now it's all the same velocities. So these two controls to MIDI box are really, really powerful and fun to play with MIDI files like this, because one MIDI file can get you all sorts of variations of guitars, you know, emphasis and stuff like that, right? Then other Z patches that get really, really fun after we get through those master strummers for the electric guitar and stuff. So and again, this one here, you can go to the upstream, up strum and all that kind of stuff to get all sorts of different things that are like, now the tremlos are for, they're, let's see if you see it. That's nice on the mandolin, not so good on the electric guitar. Then after those, remember last week in the live stream we made this? I refined it, but this is the final version. It's a combination synth and guitar, so it's kind of a cool hybrid. If you just listen, I love all the little harmonic things happening. Right? So that's that. Now the Wild Puppies and Wild West get really lovely because this is starting to combine various elements and layers and stuff. So this has the master strummer along with the electric guitar. Right? And we have cool imagery for and then one of my favorites is Wild West, because this has the mandolins and the guitars, strings, choirs, everybody going crazy. So it's that nice? And you can turn down the various elements on page 1. So we go over here and turn down the guitar and the mandolins, just have the so these are from inside of Unify's ROM, samples that are there, guitars, and then mandolin. So that's kind of fun. We've got Kaleidoscope, which has cool artwork attached to it. So you've got really... Now the fun thing with this is using wave sequencing in a kind of advanced way. It's randomizing. I'm playing one note. So I have Polybox set up so that it's both distributing the samples to 8 different places, but the random box is checked. So each time I play a note, it's choosing between these 8 different places, The last one, number 9, is a pad element, so. And why aren't you playing? You should be playing. Or maybe I have it hidden or something. No, I don't know. Anyway, it should be there, but I don't know why it's not. So what happens is when you play a chord now, each note of the chord is doing that same randomizing through the pool. So each one's getting it. They're all over the place. You play 2 notes. They each get a change at different places at different times. And I could have gone over here and gotten into playing with panning. I'm curious why this isn't playing. It's if I set this to 1. Let's see. That's it's set to raw. It should still play. It's so funny. What did I do that made it not work? Volume filter. It's just not working. That's interesting. Well, there's one more version where it has guitar added. And once again, I'll have to investigate that when I'm not in the live stream, but layer 9 should be playing. Yeah, I don't have anything telling this not to play, but it's not playing, so. Interesting. Interesting. I found a bug. All right, so there's more patches here. We get into other sorts of wave sequencing kind of things. This is more of your traditional wave sequencing. All the notes you play are played per layer for each timing event. So that last one there. That's always this. I could go over here, I could say, give me a reverb. Right? So because that one event is there, they're separate. Each timing event, unlike in a wave station or something like that, each timing event can be in different stereo positionings, which you can't do in a wave state, as well. Well, you can with programming in other ways, but not as a wave sequence step. Whereas here, it's just like that and you've done it. There's also 2 brothers, which is really fun for the... I think it's cinematically kind of thing you'd want to have something. Have those pad elements that have pulsing and stuff on them and stuff like that. There's grooves. These were, I did these for MegaMagic Guitars 3, but they were so fun. I thought to bring them over here too. They're just MIDI files. And there's a chord, so you can go minor, major, 7th. So for a groove to be played and just play one note, now you got the bass. Right? So there's Road Trip, there's Sad Day. Sad Day is a drive away. Minor is Stank. get big drum groove going on that. It's really, really cool. Serenity. Right? Just fun ideas to write with. Some of you guys need things that have guitars playing as guitars for you to work with, so here they are. The chords, as you heard, both the power chord and then the words from God is. And you can make this more impressive if you want. Go over here to the pitch bend down and like have it be like -12 for a couple of these. Let's see. Let's have it do it to this one too for Lion. So pitch bend down 12, and then even have some where it's like pitch bend down 24 steps or 36 steps if you want, or 32. 524. So now. That's nice is each oscillator, you can't do this with most plugins. It's just got one pitch bend range for everything. But here, every one of these elements can have a whole different pitch bend range. So you can have all sorts of fun with that. Then there's all sorts of lovely combinations of guitar plus. Got the dreamy, blissed out. I love Arctic Alone for Arctic Night Harp is kind of like this, but I took the mandolin and stuff out because I found this was a cool sound for even more sleepy chill. So it's fun to make really cool sounds like that. Beautiful and Alive is the one that I've been showing for a couple weeks. Got everything going all at once to it. Let's see. I showed you Dreamy Sunshine. Hobbits in Love is lovely for the. And Taylor helped with some of these artwork. He came up with this one here for the Hobbits that definitely look in love. So you have lots of places to go with this library. It's really, really fun. Then I did some simulations of different songs and stuff. This is the Boston song. I showed this earlier. Like if the original 12-string guitar wasn't jangly enough. Mr. Tambourine Man is a treatment based on the song. And I believe I'm using Swanky Amp to get there. Yes. So the original clean, if you come up here as a comparison of what we're doing, let's see, go here to guitar, clean. Let's say the VS version of clean. Here's the original. I don't think I used the mutes as a... I played the record from the 60s and it didn't sound like that. So I went in and got swanky amp, used filtering and so forth to get a little bit more of that. That tweedy kind of thing. And it's also good for the is that it? It's been a Monday night. You know, that kind of a vibe. The rock show, all these kind of things are really fun. We just made this, the trance club for the... Time to start to a BT track or something like that. Vintage Verby Church. So lots of places to take this. There's also a bass version of this. So we have now let's say that you're going to use this in a church setting and you call it up and the bass is too loud and you want to like make a preset so you just call it up and it's the right volume. If you try to save, like, let's go here. If I turn down the volume, get to where I want to be. Maybe that's the right thing. If I go to save it and I hit save or update, it says you can't because it's a UPF file, right? So here's what you can do. You select this patch. Now you're gonna lose this patch by doing this, but as long as you know what you're doing, there's two choices you have. One, you can set the volume where you want it. Like maybe we want it to be like a 1550. You can go over here, you could go save and give it a different name. Just say live. And go save as save. So you've made a live version. So now you have two versions of it. And then the other original versions, the bass is a little bit stronger. But if you wanted to overwrite this, UniFi lets you delete patches from the Finder. So let's go to this and let's right click and say delete this patch. And we say okay, and it's gone. Now I'm gonna call up Vintage Verby Church. I'm gonna turn down my bass. Let's say I want it to be down at like 15. It's where we found out that it was like about right. If I right click this and say delete this patch and say delete, it's gone. But it's still in memory, so I can go over here to save, save as, save. I have updated the patch. It's no longer protected, so I can overwrite it again if I make if I make the volume softer. If I go to save and I hit update, now when I call it up, it's been updated to that new volume. But this way you could revise and modify patches. If you're playing with a patch, and each time you call up one of these patches in these libraries, you go, oh, I wish I could change something. This doesn't work. There's a parameter, where is it at? Maybe if I want to go to the EQ and I wanted to look at my EQ settings, maybe I didn't want to let scoop, right? If I want that to be how it sounds, I could right click, delete the original, and then just quickly go over here to the save, save as, and save. And now I've updated it to a new setting. So any of these patches you come to, if you want to revise it, if you want it a little bit brighter 12 string, you could do that. Just delete the patch and then resave the patch immediately after deleting it, and you've updated to a patch that now you can modify and stuff like that. So. All right. Let me show you a couple free plugins that have cropped up. And one of them has a special heads up because it doesn't work right in UniFi. And they're aware of it and they're working on it, but it's a cool plugin. Let's call up something like, let's call up Kaleidoscope to play with. And I'm going to right click here, and it's from Minimal Audio is this first one. And it's in the video description. We talk about it. Minimal Audio. It's called Formant. And this does a really cool Formant shifting. The only problem is that when you play new notes after you, it resets the audio after every time you play notes. And it's because our transport is starting and stopping the MIDI clock, and this is listening to MIDI clock to reset. So I've let them know about that so that maybe they could put a setting in here. You'd have to go over here and you'd have to either say, I think MIDI manual stop. Now it doesn't stick anymore. Bring it from dark tones. So it's a cool effect. Now again, with Unify, you can assign this to macro knobs and get the LFOs doing cool things. Get that kind of stuff going on. It's really, really fun to use it that way. On the macro knobs, you have two controls. In fact, you can record them either by pulling down the, let's say full range. So we're gonna click the full range box, go here to master, effect, Formant. You have shift, which if I move. And you can also go here and you can say add master tilt. And then what's fun with Unify is you can double click to give multiple breakpoints to each one of these and make them different for each one so that it's doing unexpected things, right? Like this. Now that knob, it's going all over the place. Isn't that cool? So if you use this like on a pad, let's go over here to like a pad sound. Like some of these, I have one of these that has something that's good. This would be nice. So if you go over here and say Formant, F-O-R-M-A-N-T, listen to this. This is beautiful. So it's doing a really cool sonic shifting and smearing of right? So that's cool. It's in the video description for the link. Here, I could call it up over here too. So Manimal Formant. Let's see if we go to minimal audio right here. Formant's on their front page. So just go minimal audio. Let's see if we go to just minimal audio.audio. Sufio. There. So here is the link. I'll put it into the video description so you have it there too. The other one is from our friends at Kiloheartz. And they have their free set of plugins. You guys should all have these because they're such great tools. I think you go over here to download. You can go here. You can download the installer. That will get you there. I think you have to register or sign up or something like that to get it. But they have the free effects, which you can get. All these effects are included for free. There's 30 now that they use with their, they've got a really cool multi-effect box kind of a thing to play with. Snap Heap is what they call it. So if you own Snap Heap, you can play with this stuff in really cool ways. They have a new thing called Compactor, and it is included now with that set of plugins. So if we go to Groove Summit, let's call up a drum groove really quick. I'll show you Compactor. It's a cool shaper kind of a plugin. We've been playing with shapers. We had a cool one last week from the guys at, well, it's distributed through Eventide, but what was that? that was I can't remember their name. Elemental Audio. They do. I'm losing my train of thought on what I'm trying to say. So let's go here to a drum groove, like say this is camp 3. We want, yeah, here we go. We can play with that. All right, so let's go down here and let's say compactor. This has this interface. And then as you bring down this knob, this graph picture, it squashes. And you can control the range. Keep it stereo. Control how long you want to hold. So you just take the edge off things, which is really nice. So it's new to the Snap Heap group, and you can sidechain it as well, but I don't have sidechain, and we don't have it inside of UniFi working. So take on me, yeah, take me on type of thing. Yeah. So there's links to these 2 plugins, and their video description of this video contains links to get to those pages to download those. Yeah, it's nice. Sometimes you have something that's just sticking out too much, and Compactor is gonna. There's so many different ways of using clipper type of things. All right, we got just a few minutes. Let's make one more bonus patch, and then I have to get these to you. So we got to get to work. You guys are saying you wanted a jam kind of thing that you could lead with. So let's do this. Let's start with the lead sound that we want to play with. So let's say we want to do Firebird. Would that be a good lead? And let's do this. Let's take everything down an octave. Down, down. So it gives me more keyboard range because I want to make a split. And I'm going to right click the low range of all of, not these 2 guys, because those are the chunks, but not the chunks, but here, here, and here. Who stopped at B? Oh, I'm there. Okay, so now. And I'm going to change the velocity range. I want the guitar to be in there. And I want the mutes to stay in there all the time, too. And now I need something to jam with in the left hand. So since we're short on time, we're just going to have some fun and go to the standard library. And let's look for some of the BPM things here that we could like import in and play with. So let's go BPM pads. What's fun with this is like, say load into it as a new Unify layer. So it shows up here. And then if it's not the right thing, I can just go surfing through the patches just by clicking here, and it will change the patch. So I can. I want to slow it down. Say 85. That's cool. Let's take it up an octave so we have a little more range to work with. So. Let's get a groove with that, and we're gonna have this stop at B so I can. That's where we're headed. It's gonna take us a minute to get there. So let's go BPM drum. Let's just go for one of the drum grooves that are all put together. So let's see here, BPM drum. Maybe Jakarta groove. This is a good techno-oriented type of groove. Let's load just instrument 1, MIDI box. I need to turn off note chorus so that just plays. But I want this sound different, so let's open a Guru sampler and let's play with the filtering and stuff a little bit. There we go. And let's do this. Let's put a little bit of the delay kind of play with this on this. Since we're kind of doing like slower tempo stuff, we can get away with this. I'm gonna change the delay to be like a band pass. So it's moving the frequency up so I don't have so much low frequency to deal with. And I want to latch this, right? So I can, and then I want the guitar to be down an octave so I have a little bit more range to play with. So and I want the drums not to follow up here. So let's go up here and say stop it. And we need to go up here to the transport and I'll, oh, you didn't listen. So right here. Now let's get a little bit more effects on this. Let's see, I want to get a little bit more of a different reverb. So let's add an additional reverb just to flesh it out a little bit longer. Now, I'm not using latch at this point, but I want to set it up a couple ways so that I can hold down on the sustain pedal, play this, and then I want my guitar to be able to be played without being muddy from playing and holding the notes, right? So we use a MIDI filter for that. So we go up here to each one of the guitar layers, utility, MIDI filter. Come over here, we say sustain, suppress, which means don't let it through. So let's go to each one of these guys and go right here, MIDI standard, utility, MIDI filter. I'm going to add an additional one on the trigger box for the slides because they can, well, the slides doesn't really matter so much for that. I'm going to hold down Control and Shift to copy this and paste so that they're both. And I also want to just make sure that I have a MIDI filter in here for the harmonics in case I change to the harmonics that they play. Now, and let's see here. I've got my chunks. I'm going to take them up an octave. So this is going to go to C6. And this will go to C6. And this will go to B5. And this will go to B5. And then I can right click on all these guys for their high notes and say, you guys can all go up to A#5. So now, let's add something spicy to the, and there's a couple things we could try. Let's have some fun really quick by go duplicate. So we duplicate this layer, just say duplicate layer one time. And I'm gonna click and drag to put it up here at the very, very top so I know that it's here. And I'm gonna go to one of the cool pads. So let's solo this. Go to the, here's all the sounds that were sampled for this library. It's there's a lot here. So we can go to, Let's try some of these. That might be cool. I have a little bit of ring out. So now. I want that lead sound to... And let's do this just to have fun. Let's duplicate this one more time just to show you like how crazy we can get if we want. Let's put that below the reverb level and let's solo this. And let's see, I want to make sure. Yeah, those are the same. So instead of this, let's go into Unify standard library and find something. So let's go down here, standard library. We could try basic waveforms, like see what a unison synth sounds like. So we're getting guitar and synthy stuff. And this, I'm gonna call up an EQ. I wanna do a thing really quick. Go EQ, flex EQ. I wanna emphasize this. A trick for EQ for getting rid of things that you don't like, crank your EQ and sweep. Right in there, I don't like that. So now I can minimize it once I found it. There, that'll clear up so I hear more guitar. And I lost my guitar tone, so let's go like this. Duplicate one more layer. Get this up here. At the very top will be the guitar. So we'll go back to the library, and instead of mutes, we want to say up here not the harmonics, the distortion, firewater. Let's try a couple other of the distortion. Let's try Lion. Maybe a little less of the reverb, which I think it is too. And this has also that low frequency in there, so let's double click. There. So that's out. So, how's that for an idea? Got a cool groove. Now my mod wheel is currently not. What's it working on? It's working on the synth sound, but it's not working on the guitar. So let's open up the vibrato. I put in special settings because I have it doing velocity, or its LFO is getting faster as it gets in depth. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go 3. 3 is doing it really well. So let's duplicate this and duplicate this. So we say duplicate. And then I'm going to go down here to 3. And instead of 3, I'm going to just delete this and say 1. And just by doing this, I'm reassigning it without having to go through the whole thing. So now I have guitar with LFO. See how it's speeding up as well? So that's cool. And by using the sustain pedal, I can sustain this cool thing. And my right hand is free to turn down the mutes just a little bit. Cool. Maybe a little faster. Just need a cool synth bass line with that, and you've got a cool thing. So, what should we call this? What kind of name should this be? Does this library have for strumming a typical guitar? Double tracking the setup. I like, how about call it Spywave? Let's call it Spywave. So Z, BPM split, Spyware. Spyware Jam. We'll call it the Spyware Jam. I don't know what that means, but hey, you know, Wilf, I'll answer that question. Yes, we do have strumming stuff. I just need to save this patch real quick. So BPM split. This is split with rhythm plus pad in left hand. Listening to sustain pedal. Big synth plus guitar lead in right hand, ignoring sustain pedal. Okay, so save as and save. Real quickly for Wilf, let me show on right here, go to the guitars. There's the master strummers, which allow you to play just one note. And then on the macro knobs, page 2, we have velocity. So if you want to control the accents, you can do that in automated. There's also single note strums just by playing one note, and it will play. And again, MIDI velocity on macro controls. And you can make your own MIDI files playing whatever you want it to play. The instruments up here by themselves, if you go to like the acoustic pick DI, this has the stereo AKG mics and the DIC. You even have got the cool chunks and all that kind of stuff. All right, let me get you these patches. So we're going to say new. We've got a libraries folder we have to make, right? So I get over here so I can do that. And then reveal on the Finder, the library. And then we go up here. My thing to do is to always go here to date modified. So we have this and transmission. So let's do this. We have to copy this whole library over really quick to do this. In general, it's the most versatile guitar library. Yeah, I think in the bonus library, I'll make a stereo wide 12 string type of a thing. I didn't do that for here. I didn't think of setting that up, but that's a good idea to do that. Libraries, MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5. Copy it here. It's 5.25 gigabytes or something like that. So then we open up this. Here's the library. You don't need that, don't need that, don't need them. So get rid of those. We go to the patches, and it's like all except for the two that we made today. Bye-bye to them. Why is my computer needing to think? Don't think, just do, please. There we go. Thank you. Compress. Let's call this, get this name. Call this paste. See, we don't need to say mega. Actually, it's just, you just go MegaMagic Guitar 5 live stream bonus. 9/13/09/13/25. Okay, so let me get this into my little Dropbox for you guys. Go over here to freebies. Freebies. Unify libraries. This is MegaMagic Guitars 5. Oh, and then we need to rename this .guru so that you can just drag it over Unify and it will say, hey, this is a thing I know and I recognize. Do you want to install it? You just say, okay, and these patches will be added. Let me zip it one more time. So you unzip it and then drag the guru file over. So it's 120 kilobytes, it's super tiny. And here's the link in the video description, and I'll put it in the video description as well as our chat. But there you go. Riff from the Rafters. I like that. That's a cool name, Jim. I missed that, but we got it for what it is. So that would be down here in ZPPM Split. We call it Spyware Jam, so you can. Cool. Well, thank you for your support. I've seen lots of sales today. That's very much appreciated. So thank you for your business. Hope you like these sounds. And yes, this is the last library for Unify 1. All our attention is on Unify 2 right now, besides getting this library done. So we are working hard. October is going to be a fun month. So we just got to get there. We still have work to do. But thank you for joining us. Let's do our shout outs wherever you are at in the world. Say hello. Shout out. I can't spell. Out from Eagle, Idaho. Good to see you all. Yes, I'm thirsty. Talking a while without drinking. Scotland in the house. Norway. Thank you, Ivar. What a good library. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you like it. There's Finland, the UK, Colorado. It's fun to hear from all you guys. I appreciate you all being here and hanging out. It's very fun. Germany, good to see you, Wilf. All right. Well, enjoy everything. And thank you for your support. And have a great creative week. And we will see you next Saturday with more fun stuff to do. I'm sure we'll come up with something to come up with, play with, and have a good time with. So, Texas, Germany, more Germany. Taylor's pointing out our email address. If you have tech support questions on any problems or issues, please contact us. We're here for you, okay? Kasaka-san in Japan. Arigatou gozaimashita. Domo. Ken up in Washington. All right. Great, guys. Thank you. See you next week, okay? Have a great week. Everybody have great weeks this week.